Good morning, Eco TV listeners. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, both at home and abroad. My name is Larry Sise, and I'm back on our usual Thursday program with my colleague Lamin Mane. Today we have a three-item podcast we wanted to talk about. All of them related to the late Solo Sandeng's 10th anniversary activities yesterday. The first one is Solo Sandeng and our Martyrs. I think sometimes we forget that Solo Sandeng was the doing of a group of UDP supporters who were either beaten, tortured, raped, and killed while agitating for electoral reforms. We hope to remind you of those martyrs through their pictures on the screen. And then this show, when it was being conceptualized, the Gambia we want was not chosen out of the blue. It was chosen with Solo Sandeng's death in mind, in terms of saying, I want some electoral reforms where I can choose my own president in my own free will. That's the Gambia he wanted. And that's why this show is been named after the Gambia we wanted. We never explained why we called it the Gambia we want, but this is what was behind the conceptualization of the show. Solo Sandeng was arrested, tortured, and killed because he wanted electoral reforms, as I said. He wanted the dictatorship to end, and he wanted the dictator to organize elections that are free, fair, transparent, and are democratic. And as a result, he was arrested, he was tortured, and we all know how tragically and unnecessarily he passed away. Now, under the Gambia we want, we cannot go into all the issues in detail, but we'll give you the subheadings. One of the subheadings is poverty and deprivation, bad governance, or governance corruption and impunity, and lack of respect for the rule of law, and insecurity. The second issue is the betrayal of Solo's ultimate sacrifice. Solo came out knowing fully well what the consequences of his actions were going to be. And sure enough, they didn't disappoint. They went after him, they arrested him, they tortured him, imprisoned him, tortured him, killed him. And there are people in Barrow's government today who were part of that betrayal. And this is what is sad about yesterday. Yesterday, personally, I did a very serious introspection on why some things happened in our governance system. And one of the things that stood out was how blatantly Solo was betrayed, and how two core characters who were part of that betrayal are now some of the most powerful, influential people in the Barrow government, namely Fabakary Tombong Jatta as Speaker of the National Assembly, who actually tabled the motion in 2017 for a state of emergency to be declared. He was majority leader in the National Assembly at the time. He was the one who tabled that motion for a state of emergency. Which, if it had gone, Yaya would have been president today, save for divine intervention. The second layer of betrayal is Sidi Njai. Sidi Njai was information minister at the time, and he stood on video to say Barrow will not be sworn in on Gambian soil. Barrow left with the ECOWAS team, went to Mali, and then eventually went to Senegal. He was sworn in Senegal. That same Sidi Njai is now the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. His chairman of the National Assembly is Security Committee, and he's roaming around. We're going to talk about that in detail.
Deputy Speaker of NPP.
Deputy Speaker, NPP. Now, he's roaming around creating havoc in the country in terms of attempting to register people. We're going to talk about that in detail because there are two incidents that we can authoritatively talk about. One was in Nabucco, one was in Bundu. The third one, well, that's the third one, the betrayal of Solo Sandeng. Now, let us introspectively look at what our party leader has said yesterday at the Westfield Youth Park there. I think when we listen to what he has to say, you begin to understand why Solo is the kind of character that he was, because Solo was a colleague not just to the party leader, Alhaji Hussein Dabo, he was also President Barrow's colleague. He was Alkali Conte's colleague. He was all of their colleagues. They hang out together. They know each other. But you know what? I looked at yesterday's activities. I haven't seen the government's fingerprints or footprints anywhere there. Tuesday. They have not participated in commemorating Solo Sandeng's death. And that is unfortunate because since UDP started recognizing and commemorating this date, Barrow's government has never participated in it. To the best of my knowledge, even in the evening lecture series, they have not participated in it officially. You have not seen any government official. So basically, Solo, who died for the country, so that these individuals can enjoy what they're enjoying, his memory has been denigrated. There is no betrayal bigger than that, Lamin.
Yeah.
It is the mother of all betrayals.
Exactly.
I will let you contribute to these particular subjects.
Yeah, thank you very much, Larry, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our viewers and listeners around the world, and back home here, of course. Solo Sandeng was a symbol. He was a martyr, but he was a symbol of all the martyrs in the Gambia. And that's what Alhaji Hussein said at the memorial celebrations. He said, when we talk about Solo Sandeng, we don't talk about only Solo Sandeng, we talk about Solo Sandeng and all those who died alongside. But Solo was emblematic in the sense that this was a man who knew that by going out, he was putting his life on the line.
At risk.
And that he could be killed. And he said, if I am to be the sacrificial lamb that will salvage the Gambia, I'm prepared to take that risk. I will put my life on the line for the Gambia if I die and Gambia gets free and gets the reforms that we want and puts an end to dictatorship. My life would have been lived to the maximum. So he knew that his life could be lost. He had a young family and everything, but he decided to sacrifice his life for his country. He was, as you said, a colleague of all of those people starting with Adam Barrow. They sat on the National Executive Committee together. They worked together. They were together in so many things. And Adam Barrow owes his presidency to Solo Sandeng.
Yeah. Whether he likes it or not.
That's the reality. It's because Solo put his life on the line and it was taken brutally, mercilessly. That was why Adam Barrow became president. Because when that happened, Alhaji Hussein and his colleagues went out and said, we want him back, dead or alive.
Yeah. Give us his body.
And that was another manifestation of this selflessness of UDP leadership. Alhaji Hussein told his deputies, anybody who holds a substantive position in the party, in the National Executive, you come out with us. All the deputies, you stay behind. If we are murdered, because it was murder that was being planned. If we are murdered, you take over and you run the party. He too knew that they could be killed.
Yeah.
That notwithstanding, he also went out with his National Executive members and went to claim Solo Sandeng's body, or dead or alive. And they too were mercilessly beaten up jailed, tortured, some of them.
Yeah.
And this is what this country went through to put Adama Barrow where he is today.
Yeah.
That is what ushered in the reforms, and this is one of the reforms that we saw in the electoral scene, the on-the-spot counting. That's what ushered Adama Barrow into power. So if anything, he should have been grateful to those people for the sacrifice they did for the Gambia first, and for him to become president. He should have honored the memory of those people. Today we should have had places named after them. We should have had structures set up in the name of those martyrs.
And the government issuing a statement in recognition of that contribution.
And not only in recognition of that contribution, but we should have set up a fund from the very beginning to take care of the people who were tortured, beaten, raped, and all that, and who are still alive, who are suffering. You take care of those people. You take care of the families of the people who fell in that fight. That is the least we could do for those people. Those martyrs are dying off one by one. Adama Barrow didn't do as much as take up the medical bill for one of those people. People have been flown and could have and should have been flown out of this country for medical treatment because there are no facilities here to give them the treatment. They are suffering quietly in their homes. When UDP can support those things, supports them. Other people are supporting, other people of goodwill. But Adama Barrow and his colleagues are just squandering the money of the Gambia to do other things except take care of those people who deserve it more than anybody else. Those kids, those families, their kids, how do they go to school? Adama Barrow doesn't care. Do they eat? He doesn't care. Do they have facilities, medical and otherwise? That's the least of his worries. And Solo Sandeng should have been somebody that Adama Barrow would have celebrated. We should have had a national day for the martyrs. We should have had places named after them. We should have done what we could to honor their memory and to assist their families. But that's the president we have today.
Lamin, you know, we say it's a government which is defined by incompetence and indifference. This is the biggest, clearest...
I think we should add to that list heartlessness.
Yeah, well,
because the indifference, I don't think it's strong enough to...
Indifference, heartlessness.
Yeah.
The point is, these guys don't give a damn about anybody.
Exactly. Exactly.
So long as they are okay, life is okay.
Yeah.
This is one case, and the case of the TRRC victims.
Yeah.
These are cases where this government could have shown that it has empathy.
Yeah.
You empathize with people, you support them. You know, support doesn't have to be just financial.
No, no.
It could be emotional. It could be just mentoring their kids. Now, when I hear people say, what has UDP done for the country? I cringe because those people who are asking that question were post-dictatorship kids who have been brainwashed into believing that A, Jawara in his 32 years hasn't done anything for this country, and B, UDP in its 30 years of existence hasn't done anything for this country. This is a case in point where only UDP guys were arrested. Yeah. Only UDP guys went out on the streets. Mm-hmm. Only UDP guys were tortured. Only UDP guys died. Yeah. And died very frivolously. And you turn around and say, what have you done for the country? If it were not for UDP, this country would still be under dictatorship.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So those who were born in 1994 and above,
that's the picture of
the elders
and the
going on
elders.
this. Now, just the way they are dressed, you knew they were ready to go to prison.
Yeah.
They were ready to go to prison.
They should die, yeah.
Or die.
Yeah.
Now, you look at this, what has happened to them,
yeah.
The incarceration, imprisonment, the torture, the lack of medical attention to them. They endured all of those things and are still in the forefront of trying to free the Gambia. Mm-hmm. You know, the youths of this country, we need to have a mindset change. And that mindset change has to start with the fact that these elders have done what they should have done. It's now up to the young people of this country to move the baton
to the next level.
To the next level.
Yeah.
These elders have done it. This is the last hurrah for them. After this, they will not be in the forefront. And I listened to Lamin, I listened to Nyaur Koma's intervention at the lecture the other night. He was on point in saying the educated youths are our problems. Now, you don't want to move into that area, but I'm just referring to it because in his mind, and he spoke for a lot of people. He was being applauded talking about that those youths who are educated, his contemporaries, they're the ones who are betraying this country and the elders of this country. I think we can leave the solo Sandeng issue there. I think we talked about before in different podcasts, we talked about the difficulties in our cost of living, the rise in prices, the rise in fuel and gas oil prices, the rise of commodity prices, the lack of medical and health care, proper medical and health care, the lack of education, agriculture, you name it. We talked about all of those things. What we now need to focus on is to say, Solo Sandeng died for a reason. The question is, are we going to let that reason just slide by, or are we going to live by what his expectations were? Because when he was going out to protest, he wanted a specific Gambia. He went out to protest because he wanted electoral reforms. And we are in the elections now. Let us talk about the electoral reforms and some of the hanky-panky that is happening in terms of certain individuals wanting to register ineligible voters.
Yes. Larry, it is extremely distressing. Solo gave his life for this country to change, starting with electoral reform. And that is what is supposed to usher in a new Gambia, starting with the new constitution, starting with the security sector reforms, civil service reforms, and all the reforms that were planned to usher in a new Gambia. None of that has happened. If anything, we are backsliding. Because when the government gets to a point where it knows it is so unpopular that it cannot win free, fair, and transparent elections in this country and has to go and recruit electoral cattle from outside the Gambia. Because I call them electoral cattle. They just bring them in here for the electoral purposes and then they go back, and that's it. So if he has to go and recruit electoral cattle from outside the Gambia to bring them in here, to have them registered and vote for him in violation of all our laws. And this organized by a man and a group of people under that man, a man who swore to uphold our constitution and the laws of this country, and who oversees the flagrant and blatant violation of our laws. That is a treasonable offense. And this is the man whose people today are going around trying to intimidate the IEC officials, who really we have to praise them. They are doing their job properly this time for the moment, and I hope it continues. They are trying to intimidate them to register people who have absolutely no business being in our elections because they are non-Gambians or they are minors. Yeah. Sidinjai of all people. And what is so annoying about this, when you talk about illegality, Sidinjai is not very far behind.
Yeah, he's always there somewhere. You
talk about illegality, look around, Sidinjai is there. Sidinjai went to Bundung, near the cemetery, the polling registration station that's near the Bundung cemetery. He went there with a group of people he was trying to have registered. Unduly. So the IEC refused his request. The other agents were there, refused his request. So there are rules we followed. Let your people follow those rules. And at any rate, you as a person have no business coming here to advocate for somebody's registration. This is a personal issue. You can take them to the registration center if they don't have means of transport. They said, that's fine. But you stay in the background and they go, get there, paperwork done. But instead, he went to the IEC officials, tried to pressure them to register those people. They refused. And they said, we're standing by the law. And the other people from representing the parties who were there also said, this is not going to happen. We were called out of a meeting we were having at the Manjai Bureau. We raised there, said, we're coming. This country doesn't belong to Sidinjai or anybody. The laws will be obeyed by everybody, including Sidinjai and whoever else is in his ilk. We raised there, by the time we got there, he was gone.
Yeah.
He fled. And then he shows up at Kubariko, again trying to do exactly the same thing. And he allegedly ended up assaulting one of our agents, a certain Bakari Sisi. Because they refused him to register the people he brought there. Sidi Jai has to know that he is not above the law. And he will answer for these things one day. Sidi Jai is not above the law. Nobody is, not Adama Barrow, not anybody else in that government or in this country. The laws apply to everybody and should apply to everybody. Why does Sidi Jai think that he's entitled? And all people like him, because he's not alone doing it in NDP, NPP, other people are doing it. Yeah. Why do they think that they're entitled to take people out there to have them registered when they are entitled to do that? We saw here, I think it was on Monday, numerous buses, about 14 buses, loaded with people who apparently are all foreigners to this country. They were brought into the country and taken straight to State House to meet the president. And they went to park those buses at the arch, at the entrance of Banjul. Those people had a meeting with the president or whatever they did there, God knows. And the following day, on Tuesday, we had minibuses and pickups showing up in the different registration centers, trying to register non-Gambians. Evidently, those were the people who were brought to State House. That's what it looks like. Why does a president continue to seek to violate the laws he has sworn to protect? Why don't you work for the Gambian citizens to a point where they will be comfortable enough for you to vote for you? But of course, the government is so corrupt and so self-centered that Gambians are fed up with that. And he knows that the Gambians will vote them out. He said, let me go get illegality from abroad to entrench myself in power. Well, Mr. Barrow, we have news for you. You're going to go on the 5th of December. You're going to be voted out. Governments have had it with you. And the illegal people, the people are bringing in to try to vote illegally, they will not vote. Because we're going to take all of those people to revising courts. You voted last week, said that we cannot stop them, we cannot challenge them. IEC is the only group of people who are entitled to interrogate them and ask questions. Fine. Fine. But we have the right to take all of them to revising courts, and we will. Oh boy, these state revising courts are going to have work to do. So they all go to revising courts. And the revising courts better do their part of the job. Because there is no stepping back anymore. There is no condoning illegality. The Constitution of the Gambia makes it incumbent, and I say again, incumbent upon all Gambians to protect our legal dispositions, our laws and constitution. It makes it a duty on all of us to protect our laws and constitution when they are being violated. And these laws, particularly the Electoral Act and the Constitution, are being violated, are being infringed upon by the Barrow administration. Or should I say, not Barrow administration, should I say the NPP?
Yeah, the party.
And we are not going to stand for it. We're going to counter them all the way. You want to vote laws which say we cannot stop these people, we cannot interrogate them? Fine. But we have the revising courts, and we're going to go there. And the revising courts better do the right thing.
And in any case, you are the incumbent. You've been in power for 10 years. If you are doing well, there is absolutely no reason, no need for you to bring in ineligible voters to vote for you.
Yeah.
The mere fact that this is the one party that is doing it shows that this is a party that hasn't delivered. This is a party that knows the pulse of the country has shifted against them.
In fact, it shifted since 2021.
Yes.
They knew 2021 they could not win. That's why they started it then and did it on a massive scale.
Yeah.
We had Ibrahim Silla step out and say, we know what we did.
Yeah.
You know, once these elections are over, some people will start regretting, how did this happen? Say, we know what we did, we know what we're sitting on. That was the same thing. They went to register massive amounts of foreigners to rig the elections. And they said they had 450-something plus thousand votes, 457,000 votes they had, they said. But since that election, they never hit 180,000 again. Never.
No, the 400 and something thousand just disappeared between the parliamentary and presidential elections.
Because we stopped them from injecting those votes into the system, which they were not voting for them.
Yeah.
People didn't vote for them. They were just playing with the numbers.
Yeah.
They were cooking up the results. And the possibility for doing that is what we took away from them.
Yeah.
When we took that away from them, they could not have 180,000 in the votes again. They had 150-something here, 160-something there. That's all they had. We beat them in every single election since then. In terms of the popular vote, we beat them in every single election. And this time is going to be even a landslide. And he knows that. So that's why he's trying to bring in the illegality, bring in the foreigners. So to the foreigners we say, please come and live in our country, enjoy our hospitality, enjoy the Gambia, do business here, do whatever you like here, as long as you follow the law.
Yeah.
But the elections are none of your business. Stay out of that. If you want to vote in our elections, take the pathway to citizenship. Get your citizenship through naturalization, through marriage or whatever, just get it. And then you're fine. You can come and vote. But until then, please stay out of our elections. Don't create problems for the Gambia and for yourself.
And the same thing the same advice needs to go to parents who allow their minor children to be registered, yes. Or at least they attempt to be registered in these registration centers. Yeah. Because that is also a pattern that is beginning to show this particular Sidinjai character. Yeah. In both Abuko and Bundung, that seems to be the case.
You talked about the lecture, Solo Sandeng lecture.
Yes.
I was supposed to come there after the celebration.
Yes.
But I couldn't because I have to go to other centers where we're having those issues.
Same here.
They called me, said, oh, we have issues here. Because I go around the centers to check and to solve whatever problems we can solve.
Same here.
I was on the way there when they called me on some centers, say, we have issues here, we need your here. I said, the lecture I would have wanted to attend, but there are very good people who are there who will, do it justice.
Same here. I couldn't go.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even go to the
celebration
procession because the party is well represented there. Exactly. Where we needed to keep an eye on was these registration centers.
Yes.
If we hadn't kept an eye on Sidinjai yesterday, in Abuko, he would have succeeded in registering those individuals, save for the IEC saying no, they don't meet the criteria.
Exactly.
And like you say, when IEC does well, when Barrow does well, when his government does well, we are professionals enough to acknowledge
it. Exactly.
But if they don't do well, we will not acknowledge the nonsense that they are doing.
In fact, that's what gives us the right to criticize them. When they do well, we acknowledge it. That gives us the right to criticize them when they do badly. And we are not soft on IEC. We have taken them to task. But so far this year, we see a great amount of effort being put in to obey the laws and to apply the Electoral Act.
But more importantly, to be professional about
it. And to be patriotic.
Yeah. Lavin, let's close this and go into the local languages.
But before we go there, I just want to say, we have been pointing out the good work of IEC. I hope there's no reason for the government to go after them.
They will go after them.
If they go after them, we'll be out too.
They will go after them.
Go after them, we will be out too because we will defend them. We criticize them when they do wrong. When they do right and you go after them because we said they are doing well, we will go out too. We'll fight for them.
in their chat groups, they've started labeling IEC leadership.
Yeah.
They say somebody is with UDP, another person is with DOI, another person is with UMC, and all of those things. It's a good indicator that they are going to go after the IEC.
Yeah, what they do, we'll come after them too.
Yeah, what happened to with CD in Bundung and in Abuko is just a prelude. They are going to use that to come after the IEC. But you know, Gambians are fed up. This boils down to asserting our sovereignty over our electoral process.
Yes.
Gambians want Gambians to select their president, not their president being selected by foreigners.
Yeah. And he better not start the trouble, because you see, Gambians are fed up now. We are sitting on a tinderbox. So if you start that problem, it might just sweep you away.
Yeah.
We do not want unrest in this country. So just let sleeping dogs lie. Don't start unrest. And if you go after IEC because we say they are doing well, you're going to start unrest. And that's good for nobody.
You know, we keep saying this election will be different.
Yeah.
It will be different because Gambians have decided to be patriotic.
Yes.
Gambians have decided that they don't want their election to be stolen from them.
Yeah.
Gambians have decided that only they are entitled under the law
to vote,
to vote to elect their leadership.
Exactly.
Any government that goes against that grain is an unpatriotic government.
Yeah, and it's a government thriving on illegality.
Yeah.
And as I said, the Constitution makes it a duty for us to defend our laws, and we will.
To even think that Sidin Jai, who stood and said Barrow is not going to be sworn in on Gambian soil, Sidin Jai can wield so much power, so much influence within NPP that he could actually go and intimidate government officials doing their jobs.
That says a lot about Barrow.
That says a lot about the character of Barrow and the character of the people we are dealing with.
Yeah.
So these people solo died for nothing.
Yeah.
And Gambians ought to recognize that and show them that Solo didn't die in vain.
Yeah, and we will.
And we will show them that Solo didn't die in vain.
On the 5th of December, that will be evident.
There is a government. Usually I don't like to name these characters. Who says we should UDP shouldn't wrap itself around Solo? If we don't wrap ourselves around
we
Solo,
should call these people out. It's Demba Sabali.
Yes,
we should call them out.
I don't want to amplify his name because I despise the individual in such stark terms that I don't want to give him any prominence. But to say that UDP shouldn't politicize Solo's death, if we don't politicize it, who is going to? So what he saw the other day, the symposium, the lecture, for him, all of that is politics. And this is a guy who represents a government that has never recognized Solo Sandeng as a matter for the country. Yeah. So these are despicable characters.
And this is a guy who was living a difficult life abroad.
That's an understatement.
Came here and all of a sudden found himself swimming in the wealth, ill-gotten gains. And he can say, this is the guy who's been going around saying they're prepared to spill blood for Barrow.
Yeah.
So we cannot keep quiet about this. We have to call them out. The Gambia is fighting to get itself into the development path through peace and progress and justice. Not hoodlums coming here and trying to wreck the country. So you're prepared to kill Gambians just to keep your small privileges? Yeah. Well, we are going to fight to make sure you don't do that. We are going to fight to make sure the Gambians stay a peaceful nation, and we fight for the development of this country. You are fighting for your development and the development of your NPP and all your acolytes. Good. We will find us on the way because we are fighting for the Gambia, for our country.
You know what? Gambians will show these people that Solo didn't die in vain.
Yes.
Gambians will show these people that they are tired of bad governance, they are tired of their corruption, they are tired of their indifference, they are tired of their tribalism. Yeah. Gambians are going to show them. Now, how will Gambians show them that? They will vote them out en masse.
Yes.
and kick them out of government. The reason why Demba Sabally is saying we are ready to spill blood for Barrow to stay in power, the reason why Ahmad Ba is saying election will jaral, because they know what they have done. And they are afraid of the consequences of what they have done when change happens. And you know, if you are corrupt, you know how corrupt you are. Nobody can tell you how corrupt you are. You know how corrupt you are.
Exactly.
I can sit here, you can sit here, Usenu can sit here, UDP's entire leadership can sit here and say, we are clean.
Yeah.
They can't say that.
They can't. They can't. And you see, when you have that kind of government in place, you can be sure that the country is not going to develop.
Yeah.
Because all they care about is how they get themselves rich and how they impoverish everybody else. Because, you see, these people want to make sure that Gambians are poor.
And to remain
so that they can control them easily. Because when poverty gets to a certain point, dignity is lost for some people. When you leave your house in the morning and don't know how to feed your family for that day, a number of people might do the wrong things. A number of people might accept bribes, might accept to be bought. This is what they want. Keep you so poor that by the time they, they come to you and say, oh, yes, I know, I'll give you $5,000, you vote for us. And you have a family to feed. So people take the money sometimes just for that. I said to you, when they give that money to you, it's your money that they've stolen from you. Take it, use it, and go vote for the right party, not for them. But that is where we are. But more to the point, it shows that Barrow is unfit to lead this country. Because the day that Demba Sabally said he was prepared, they are prepared to spill blood for Barrow, that is the day he should have been fired from that government.
Yeah. Yeah.
The day that Ahmad Ba said they are prepared to do anything to get Barrow elected, which includes illegality, that day he should have also been fired from that government. If you are a government that believes in the rule of law, if you believe in the right of the Gambians to choose for themselves, without coercion, without intimidation, and without being their blood being spilled by some hoodlums in the government, then you would have fired those people from at the moment they said that. But you don't care. You don't care. So
yeah,
let's have a choice.
Let's do the local language portion of it. It's about that time. Badim maninkol mbal kontona altona al konton lalbe dunia dauda ntelam larisise ning na kafunyoma lamin mane murtana bi aramiso pour nale kacha koteke bankola danyal nal hakilo bama nying lokun kono UDP be solo sanden na kuole jura kan nyina nama sanjitanti kabri afa be wole jura kan processo ke kabo bambo kata fo Westfield uraro diamol keta je uraro fanan lecture keta mol tata je ka nyoso hakilola pour bankola nyatota binna lafta men kacala dron wala nyinti ko solo Sandeng ani molu menu be fata nyim bankola kuwala yaay muta ay sorong bala firin kono ye dolu muta ye tocho yo afele fallen heroes ni dolu muta ye tocho hanibi wol dolu mankende ano ibebe killing faka ni listo by the way mo fula to man taraje to so atoro ni beda dala wato na tare imam bam follow wala musukay dahaba nin tuku jaloti anin nogoy njay sukay nogoy anin tuku to man tara jang andu wol fanan ibebate ku killing la kon laftan nali wala kacha dalilo me atin solo fa lumben solo be fintila ako alafta tala ka protesto ke pour na carte faynya loi asi fali abe wala la ya muta ya sorong ya lipan ya kol be kala fa tebul nanyin ke balu fintita wolte ko baal mafo nye solo fabe balorin fate balorin yo ke balu fel fabe balorin fate balorin silan tolbe fintilale nata ko solo be balorin aliya dinna nata ko aliya fala aliya fure dinna ngata nga sutura nyanta sutura la nyam nyin ke balu fintita wolena ñul fana kabri be fintila ni la dend ko jibe la pare nyal jibe isa lon koy paretale ko jilbe mutalale en soro walla yem fa yes katu ni be fintila alfa lam ñulti bu ka fintita so ifana lialo ne ko ni fintita men keta solo la si kenola wala tin ne ño mutate fondin ke wolu al nyanta ñi jibe la bakela ani molu menu fata banko la ko by the way molu men fata banko la ko la be mu UDP mole yeah pati kilinti je menna mo fata ñum banko la ko mol menu be fata siata doyata UDP la so al kana som moli ya foko ñim banko manke UDP manyana kango sotola im banko ka nyanta kango sotola le because nto le sacrifice ta mo beti nto le sacrifice ta party ol beti na kata le fo falengo keta me nga mem bampu ay falengo ke wala mu Adama Barot bare lumme Adama Baro gagneta Sidi Njai lotala ko Adama Baro te kalila nyim banko ka fofo akate kalila nyim banko ka eko wasunkoli ya samba Mali ya bondi Mali ya samba Senegal akalita Senegal banko le kan na embassy toje anata namuru ate Sidi Njai kilim wole o impaso wulindi musu kono mal fata mo katamal fata moli bori kabola dulal to tarin kata bolon kon o be Sidi Njai le o ata Sidi Njai kilimo
ira kordal tay ko ma janibina
ha ata Sidi Njai kilimo atata bundum registration auto je akabe mol register mol mansong IC mol mansong abota auto kunum atata abuko atata registration center to je menke bundo akabe wala kala abuko fa UDP la mo kilimo ayo lipaje to babol ka fo me assault ayo lipa bari alon Sidi ka menu lipa ayo lon ninta mo kende muti na lipa de ku kala la jannabe fala ate haramadi lipa la kote bari mol daña manke kilindi
ngata hani la fa
mol daña manke kilindi be men fala do wala mu yinti ko alal hakilotu Sidi Njai ñol ñongolto ni lebe ñim banko dundi la ñokon andu meta dandala rola le ka foko molu men be baro bala men ka foko dia ku ya fo baro e si ay to siring naman si a jartanya nga yelo bong naman si a jartanya ko belela Sidi Njai ñol be wala keka lafta moli e mello man la fi banta banku moli en na president tombonye ninna president tombonta lafta Gambia no le a tombon andu nin Gambia no ba tombon ya tombon silo kan ya tombon loi kan akana ke suñaroti akana ke kapalayati barin ka fenfenje bi ñilbe men kata kan dron ka election no suña yalo na fale ne 2021 ya suñala andu na evidence soto le because na petition o ke Supreme Court man son na petition o yela men kata 2021 ilafta wala kala 2026 molle nyaayele ta sayin ka foko nte sonna ya suña Gambia no be daoda sakonyim borderline olto al kanaso e molu bondinan dulalto ya nati ke register la dulalto sefolo al kalolu al kanaso nyulial use ka mon la election o suña because of alla palaso man important bankoti al kanaso ali attestation o di mola meya lonkal man lako al man jikiko banko dingolen wala sate dingolen because attestation o ni ba di la momo la ba sign la anyanta ko ile maka abotela dulato
yes
na man boje kanake se folum ba tolle fawo ya amerikani al kalol yaje baro nyin million tansay ni nano men di alla kala allowance abal sankan anda al sanne walatina sefol be dulal be to tarin ibe mol intimidate le ba fala mole dia ko ibe car register la ka jamu bang aketa katon because combo south sefo tata ko ka ko dia ko ya fo mole register je soma abe ke kanje abe ke kan dula ko tamol al kalol be attestation o dila molle family ya lon ko menu man nyanna attestation o soto ni tata IEC follow IEC ke reject le abuka IEC bukason butum fobe labanna fata labanna mawolo bar solo sandem fata men kama dalilo me ati na fata nka wole falete anda manyan na fala kensengi a fatale ito le a bute ya lapi e kol be kala fani obota wanyanta Gambia nolu nyaayelen dilale ko nimmolu fana ni continueta ten ibel ya jamme be nyame to lebe jawala ya jamme katibe kol men ke ka ya mawol dol al kana song yal kendi kula me alonka manke silot al kana song yal kendi kula me alonka manke luati al kana song yal kendi kula me alonko alla dino man songal yalong ka registration o kaito di mola neo di wala yake banku dinutile ni yake banku dinuti sama ni onata ko lafte la place le be mun folay ntol ma foko kana mo kana ke Gambia dinuti par loi silo le tandi ni lefta ke la Gambia noti nyanta silo men tamal momo yo silo tama nyanta ke la banku dinuti momo ma o silo tama imanya na carte o dila la droy kay ko tayeta carte o fay na carte o fay ay tay passeport o nyini na passeport o nyini ay ID nyini na ID nyini silam butila itabe sirim place o men tay na ko lafta wala be ke kan dulal to tari so nte lafta moli e mellon solo sandem man finti kensenke a fintita la ko carte o ka fay nyame loi men ka carte fayo topoto a manke loi betote alinga falling pour nte wala ndimulu sita si carte o fay no anyanta fay la nyame mote ku kelela mote ku folema e carte o fay ni lafta meke president e carte o fay ke president problem kana taraji suñar kana taraji tilungo e sabatije bare nkatula falali en alon limaniani lahido akumayata haramani ni okono baake nimmolle be nyola limaniyati je andu wasoti je fen be ke kan limaniya baliya le mani wasa baliya ani lahidi tinya so ndadi on telafta nawole fale ko nyi election o ala itande nyi molla ko atolle tamu nyi bankote ali banko table alafta dila men aliya dila hopefully alba dila UDP la useni ken na president bari ala itande nyi molla ko tata nyi bankote ala itande la fananko aliya lon ne be code na ful tinya men na banko kan aliya lon ne be loi tinya men na banko kan useni bojanjibe ya muta sanji fula anin karworo yala time waste kitio ya bula e kotol tabula anu baro ne lota la ko hani kitio e mobulan simur ko take nge muta ay wala ke wala mu loi tamandi baliyati al kana song politician ya al balil loi tamando la nyanta tamala nyama but more importantly alal hakilotu sidin jay nyol nyongolto ikanta abdulal to be mol register la menu man nyanna register ali bang anda nyanta jarala al fane fengo bella because alla foraya ni joya be wolto nimme mu foroti nsalo nimme mu jongati fana nsalo bare foraya ni joya politiko kono wala munti ilafta moment na yo tombo ye carte o fa mo kana problem dila mo kana isonkandi mo kana fenfenke ite lafta menna wo ke dro loi wala nkana suñaro dundi kuwol kon nkana tapaleya dundi kuwol kon alkalo la li bang alkana attestation o di mola memma balla lalto nimme bota alla lalto dro yalon system le bije nunto jawara la time mo lulle kasi alkalo almamo sefo anin sate lansara mo kilim fula din la resise nata ko wuluta kudanne waliya confirm ko a wuluta kudanne e kayto din nimma wulu kudan ikana kayto din simple bari sani a forcément la kana lo don ka fo won tele musidi njayta ala register al kana son ali ban far aton men fanan be borderline o tal al fan organize mol kana dul nyim banko kan ka carte o fay ali ban al kana son lam
ya la re baraka bake ya lon gamen fotron kumu be tata nata adama barola adama baro mi wala tombo 2016 ngata men nyim banko kan carte o fay wala molu jamfa mili be a dandaŋo la bi mi be ñiŋ kuru yala bi walla ye a kele nuŋ kunu mili ye keloo ke ye pour a ye sii a ye walla danfu be a ñiŋ moodolu sambana so moolu miŋ ye a loŋ ko ye kuru yaa ke before ate la naa ye wo taa ye ketandi faŋ walla ali kuru yaa miŋ ke nuŋ jamme ali naa loo keŋ fana ye lafita walla so wolu duŋ be keri anda faŋo lo télévision to jaa ko Fabakar tombon jatani sir jetata ga jelno e ka ko tanga nangi makoy bar fo yudi bin ko bay folo
yewlu bondi la ko
ko te mako bandi bay si makoy wala ni mo banta suñaro ken ka do pare suñaro ay wolu bay ina ta ka makoy suñaro commence ntol man pare suñaro to man pare ko le min si luwati ñan ko nga bula ban ko la luwal ni nga tamande ñaw sen ero baro yo tay kata da fan yafi ñame sidi njaay mi ye molu ku seku ne ndija ku barote kala ndija fu mol ka bori boro ka ta dul tata ban ko ban dul tata bolon kon o boro kon dolu accident soto je
dolu tata Sénégal
dolu fata je dolu baramata je dolu dimbayal baramata je dolu dimbayal fata je yere suwol min tuje komete borta na mol na ku du fata ko suwol tey o be ta jamba ko yen ama me wala wala o be kata janne so mol mi yewo ke tata wala tay kata ndia fanna gane wala do gola fa ba to mon jata nyolo wala sedo fa majensi ta ka sama nimba ko kanjang so min ye kelo kate pour ay si ay wala da fubi kato wol kam fay atamal fi ko moy
anda man jawo soto men tambita wala
ate jawo mo ni mol min bialan dans le biole ma jawote kato millier kilo ka pour ga sambana wala ma nyingolti wala kon a jarta nyam ranga kilo ke niyo tuje bada fu nga nyin sindi so di mo le sindi nyama ifana de isi mera ko yeli kato ke bada fana ngana kato do pour ngi la julojo bari hanata bet kuru yalla do ana la nyum wala jabbe nyaabe le kuru yalla be dere kato ni kuru ya fasa e fana be kuru yalla ni kuru yalla ke lay ke kay nyaale ma kele e fana be kuru yalla na di ne mo ne fagni ni mo jebe kuru yalla uli ya kele bulo ni sa kele no bulo ni ma kele no bulo ta kele ne wala wala ye diam ni ma do keno akele hakilo ko ay kuye ala de man kuno bara ku yata jela ba ni de nyaw kuru yalla e ban fe fuje yetu ye amata ka kuru ya fa sal so ni kuru mo be kilo wala bi nka min jeñul bitata ko ka mol registre e kan na loi le tiña kan na loi le ben fo pour mol bi ci carte fo be wala ko ta mo be mal una na sidi jabita ka mol samba ka po ke registre una na mo do fam tamé ka adamante en pibi ko bel jama bal baka an mitna ka warta ka mol dul damba ko kan kana frontière do kan lo to lo wa be yana na bitar la jan bare min tata min ko mo be tanin fulote wala ñu tan élection le suñala and tul carte suñala and inshallah ñu élection 2026 ate suñala so kama be mo dan la minna solo sandem fata minna ala nga fer ke nga wo ngala wo singo janga yan nga ka wonje ande la renda min fa tilino
nga je kanta
fa la renda singo tilino bi yimbanko ni ngatu baro na la molu bulu be ba nagu day la kat mo bolu lu ko rek
na man ke tolde
na ke tolde it fonto bolu lu kan mi ka ban ko tamandi ñol be gu dayta ko do suñu ta sur la ko tek ifana bitale so bitembo men to bi Gambia di won solo man fa ken senkere senu ko wala annon ko annon solo damante no solo tato ta nga tambindi nyaato nga kacha katum bi atele en safon kawul be jubi atella
atele ko wol dati
annon ko be jubi atella para damante so be fero men nabi wala nga banko falen fowul bi fana ila balu ya bor ye boy neeto kana ka ken sewde mo bagata yimba ko kan janni barawe silade ko birim baro sira wala jam fa ay wala dam foroyado mu kangolete so to mo lay bi wala to be kelo kala ko ngani jindi nyen temanto na si ninna molu ninna coalition min nyata men sotla yimba ko ya soto min bagata yimba ko kan nyanta joro soto la ya soto nyanta jaralo soto la ya soto yeddi mayita makoro soto la ya soto yidi be lori wala kunna andu inshallah kala ko Gambia dingol bata men taki ita so nanye continue ke maranya jawala so 2026 5th of December al fital carte fay Ousseyn Dabana ala moli fay man ko boyin ko le akol la re baraka
good na fo so kan fananto pour nkanetu koma
yes mbokay assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh maa ngi leen di nuyu di leen sant yéen ñëpp nekk sa tur ak santam di leen jox seen wàccuwaay ba mat sëkk tey li ñu tax a jóg mooy waxtaanee mbiri Solo Sandeng liñ ko rey moo tax Gambie bi ñu am démocratie bi ñu am tey moo tax ñu mun fee jëlee Jammeh bi indi Adama Barrow parce que liñ fi nekkee woon moom la Solo Sandeng doon xeex ak UDP loolu ko tax a génn mu ne naa génn xeexal réew mi pour ñu mën a wécci réew mi donte xamoon na ne mënoon nañ ko ci rey te rey nañ ko waaye mu ne su fekkee ne man suma bakkan bi moo war a rot pour Gambia wéy jaral na ma ko jaral na ma jox suma bakkan bi pour Gambia mën a rëcc mu génn di démonstrer di laajte ñu ñoo sànnee carte électorale reforms ak réforme yu dul jeex ne nañ ko def pour réew jëm kanam nañ fi génne ko fi nekk nii parce que jigut réew mi li moo def baaxut ci réew mi mu doon di xeex loolu ñu téye ko ak ay nit ñu àndoon ak moom tëj leen moom ñu dóor ko ba mu dee xawma naka la doomi aadama boo xam ne nit nga doo bàyyi ma nga toog gis sa boromi nit yow nga koy dóor wala kenn di ko dóor ba mu faat
ba ay fan
ba mu faat waaw te loolu moom dafa la dara yow xam nga moo tax ñu ne doomi aadama mun na éeg ba mel ni malaayka waaye mun na nag suufee ba raw baaxima yi ñenn ci nguuru yu arabaru ñoom fa lañ toll léegi noonu lañ nekkoon ci nguuru Yaya Jammeh dañ toll wàcc ba toll ci fi bàyyi may nekk asfala saafiliin waaye tey ñun fa lañ bëgg a jógee nag ñu ne jógee nañ fa 2016 ne never again du fi amati nañ bàyyi loolu ci gannaaw ñu continuer waaye Adama Barrow ak geng ñu boo delluwaat foofu te duñ fa delluwaat dañ ne never again mooy du fi amati te dinañ xeex loolu bañ fi amati parce que coono bi ñu ci daj suñ mbokk yi ñu rëy ñu tëj ñu dal seen kaw loolu yàlla xam naka la toll suñ doom yi génn di démonstrer school children yi yaa jamono yoon ñu rëy leen ñeneen ñu gaañ ba tey ñu toog ci ay puus te nguur gi xalaatu bu dimbali leen boo dimbali seen waajur ak seen mbokk gis na ko ci réew mi fii Tamsir ci lay bokk kana dimbali Tamsir te ñu bëri nañ ci réew mi fees ñu fi fees ñun nag dañu loolu dafa war a jeex léegi bu mu fi amati loolu tax solo sax dañ joxee bakkanam pour ñu mën a génn ci loolu moo tax ñu nekk fii nag di ko wax affaire solo sànni tey di ko màggal parce que du deem bi la ñoo màggal li ñoo màggal mooy li ko tax a jóg li tax mu joxee bakkanam loolu la ñoo màggal gis ne bu mu nekk ci neen dafa xeex pour réewam nañ continuer xeex boobu noonu pour génnee fi bad practice yi fi nekk téye nit jàppal tijal dóoral réyal loolu ka fi nekkoon fa lañ jëmati léegi de luy raam ci njàng la leen gis nañ ko fi ak Ousseynou Bodian kaa door nañ bu ñu leen bàyyi noonu lay continuer su leen neexee ñu jàppale tij la lu waaye bàyyi la ñu jéeraat la tijaat la parce que dañ am doole bi jël foog nañ
te Barrow si boppam mus naa wax loolu.
mun naa wax waaw mu ne mun ku fi tiyee loi bi bàyyi la naa la tëj lu génn loolu nag xam nga loolu njub lam passé wu parce que loi bi ñëpp ci ron loi bi lañ nekk mu ñu féetee ko ñun ñëpp doole ko ci moom Barrow soo yu président bu toogee di wax li moo wax bu ñu ko nangu parce que moom dafa waat ne dafa sàmmal luwaay réew mi nañ fexe ba génnee fii lu bon li fi nekk nañ fexe ba tax nguuru Barrow bi ci jàmm ak salaam kenn bugg fi tuur deret kenn bugg fi xeex donte gars yi ñu ngi wax ne jaral na leen tuur deret ñu wax kenn du fi tuur deret donte gis nañ Sidi Ndiaye di dal si kaw registration agent di leen dóor donte ñoom fi nekk ñu ne jaral na leen lu nekk ñun jaral nañu lu ëpp loolu nag waaye duñ tuur deret duñ toroxal kenn ci réew mi nag ñu toroxal benn doomi réew ci doomi Gambia ci réew mi fii soo dinañ xeex loolu noonu soo fi mu nekk des na ci Gambien si ñu ngi ci registration lii saafara lii yëpp mooy ku nekk génn dem uti carte koo xam ne amaguloo ku am carte nag damal seet sa carte bi nga seet ndax mu ngi fii tey dara jotu ko su ko dara jotu alhamdulilah dencal xaar si 5th of December su ko dara jotee demal nga wécci ko ñu pare loolu mooy seen gànnaay seen carte bi mooy seen gànnaay loolu ngeen a xeexee parce que ñun buñ ko fi suuxi bal buñ ko fi jël paaka di jam nit ñun suñ bal bi suñ paaka bi mooy electoral card bi nga jël ko toog xaar 5th of December nga dem sànni carte génn fi nguur gu bon gi indi fi nguur goo xam ne Gambie moo leen ñor Gambie lañ tal nga xam ne ñu fere yoon ñëpp suñ doom yi génnoon di maaj jàmme rey leen ñoom solo Sandeng ñoom Nogoy Njaay ñoom Sukay Daxaba ñoom Femi Peters baal leen ma rek parce que ku lim juum waaye bari nañ ñu fi rey te ni nga ko waxee ñëpp UDP lañ woon bu suñ ngay nekk di deeti dañ jeexal loolu nag dañ koy jeexalee mooy jël suñ carte yi xaar 5th of December dem sànni carte kuy jéem a xoxatal doomi réew mi nañ taxaw defeen suñ doomi réew yi ku bugg a xoxatal IEC parce que tey moom alhamdulilah defoon nañ lu bëri yoo xam ne dafa bonoon ci at yi ngénn ren ñu ngi góorgóorlu nañ leen jàppale ci loolu ñu mun a continuer di góorgóorlu élection si demee ni mu war a demee mu jeex ni mu war a jeexee ñu indi UDP ak ñi ko ñi mu àndal ñu jéewal leen réew mi ñu liggéey ko parce que ñëpp dégg nañu Ousseynou wax moom mun joxe ma juróomi at waxoon na ko 1996 la ko njëkkoon a wax ne man juróomi at rek laa soxla jox ma juróomi at ma liggéey réew mi teg ko ci yoon ma jébal leen ko ba ci anam boo xam ne kenn dootu mën a toog di jalgati lu waaye réew mi kenn du mën a toogati fii di ko def di ko neex loi mooy sàmm ñëpp ci réew mi loolu laa bëgg waxaat na ko ren mun ne benn temps rek laa bëgg a juróomi at jox leen ma ko mun naa ko ci juróomi at naa teg réew mi ci yoon ñu jébal leen ko ngeen continuer li ci des loolu de moom xanaa kay ku la ko wax ne ma wax ci jeex na utee naag ngóor si baro ki ñëw ne moom ñetti at doy na ma ñetti at jéem ne non man daal fii daal dafa neex daal
xam naa def juróomi at
juróomi at mu ne suu juróomi at noonu fii ni mu neexee man dem ma fenn fii laay toog fukki at laay def léegi muy xam ne mu affaire yi fanweeri at nag ak fanweeri at yi jeexee
mu ne yaa dem
mu jébal ko doomam
yaa dem na 30 years moom itam mun naa def loolu ak lu ko ëppa
waaw su paree mu jébal ko doomam yi loolu lay wax léegi soo seetee kooku xam ne kooku réew mi ñoru ko de nga seet ko ak koo xam ne moom mënu jël ma juróomi at rek laa soxla ma liggéey réew mi moo ma tax moo ma teree nelaw ci fanweeri at loolu lay xeex pour teg réew mi ci yoon jox leen ma ko juróomi at man liggéey ko ak suma xarit ñi ak suma mbokk suma partisan si may liggéeyal ñu liggéey réew mi teg ko ci yoon bi nga xam ne kenn du ko mën a jëlee ci yoon boobu léegi ñu bàyyi leen ko léegi ngeen continuer try leen ko su fekkee defu ko ngeen folli ko moom itam kii fal mooy folli te waaye ñun óor nañu ne buñ falee Ousseynou Dabo ak UDP Gambie yëpp dañ toll ne way su waay yaay su lu tax ñu bàyyi lii wax defuñ ko bu yàgga
30 years defuñ ko
loolu li ko waroon def du tey try leen ko seet su ma daanalee kaddu gi mooy lu tax ngeen war a óolu Ousseynou Dabo ak ñi mu àndal koo xam ne naa ko dee waxtu bu ne wax fu ma bamtuwaat ko rek parce que yii foog ñu bamtuwaat ko nit ñi mun a fàttale ko kañ bañ koo fàtte koo xam ne nekk ci réew mi fii juróom fukki at muy liggéey fii di taxawal doomi réew mi di xeexal doomi réew mi def lu nekk kenn musu koo jiiñ dara kenn musu koo tuumal ci dara loo xam ne ànd ak yoon mu nekk ci kanam UDP fanweeri at di xeex di jóge ko daanu ak ñëpp teg bakkanam bi ne su ma réeree nañ ma réewaa naa génne réew mi mu def loolu yëpp ci fanweeri at yi mënuñ ko tuumal dara lu doo xam ne daf na lu daka su dul noonu ñaari at ak genn wala mu ngi ci nguur yi Adama Barrow ak jublaa bi nekk ci nguur gi nii sàcc bi ci nekk randal bi ci nekk mu génn moom moo ñoom Amadou Sané Lamin kenn mënu leen a jéñ bu tuut te jëlan ko ci réew mi waay koy boo joxee réew jox ko ku mel noonu kay ñun loolu lañ leen a ñaan jël leen seen carte yi ñu sama solo Sandeng héritage ak ñi mel ni moom jox nguur gi Ousseynou Dabo ak ñi mu àndal ñu liggéey réew mi ñu mun a am seen àq ak seen yelleef wallahi liggéey réew mi jafewul boo amee ku jub nañ ko def mun a jéem lii dëkk bi dañ ko doon na ci suñ réew bi dañ ko doon na ci suñ kilifa yi suñ doom itam war nañ ko doon na ci ñun doon na ko ci ñun ci anam bu rafet ñu bàyyi leen réew boo xam ne mu ngay jëm kanam mun nañ ko nañ ko fexe def jërëjëf maa ngi leen di sant di leen gërëm di leen ñaanal yéen ñëpp fan bu gudd ak wér gu yaram yal nañu yàlla may ñu fekkee 5th of December 2026 bu kenn mbootee yal nañu yàlla yokk xéewal ak sutura jërëjëf.
Lamin man li ma ci bugg a yokk ñaari yëf la rek. yu gaata njëlbeen bi mooy li nga mujjee wax ni Ousseynou ak suñ gaay Ousseynou Dabo Amadou Sané Lamin Diba nekk nañ ci nguur gi. waaye biñ nekkee ci nguur gi ba léegi ak njuuj njaaj bi nekk ci nguur gi ba léegi kenn musuta wax seen tuur foofu
ak commission yi am yëpp
commission yi am yëpp bokkuñ ci njuuj njaaj bi nit ñi war nañoo xelaat loolu second point li ma bugg a wax mooy ñoom Sidi Ndiaye di dem di jéem a register ñoo xam ne waruñ leen a register mbokk yi waruñ leen a support ci loolu parce que su fekkee ne alaaw ngeen seen doom yi nga xam ne amanguñ 18 years ñu register leen ñu dem revising code problème boobu yéenaa ko feetoo Sidi Ndiaye du ko feetoo Sidi Ndiaye du fa nekk coono bi nga def loolu di jël looya di dugga di génna ndax jaru ko wax leen Sidi Ndiaye ak maasam yi ne yéen loi ngeen a toppa ngeen toppa loi boobu ngeen register ñi war a register bu leen register ñi nga xam ne waruñ leen a register xam ne dëkk bi ñëpp a am ci ron loi kenn waruta ñëw ci registration center bi ne by force di ngeen register koo xam ne waruta register bañ leen bu leen nangu seen doom yi ak seen nawle yi dugga ci loolu parce que ñoom seen intérêt la ñoo topp loolu mooy seen intérêt yéen seen intérêt mooy ñetti at yokkuñ prix gerte waaye ñoom ñu ngi yokka seen salari rek boo leen demee ci lopitaan yi garab amu fa da ngeen a génn a dem jënd garab boobu sax da ngeen a lokki ba am ko boo leen demee seen school yi noonu la agriculture dara doxut yoon yi ñoo sampa nii yëpp yoon yu bon rek la so mbokk yi xool leen ba xam ne ñii ay niti njuun jaaj lañ liñ nekk di def rek mooy seen interest soo gisee Barrow di sampa ay yoon di lay foundation stone di def kii yëpp corruption la parce que jàngakat yi ne infrastructure project moom li mu wax capital expenditure infrastructure project boo gis face boo gis foofu noonu corruption mun na faa am àddina si yëpp d'accord nañ ci loolu te ñu ngi gis yoon yu bon yi ñoo sampa fi man li ma bugg a mbokkay xam mooy kenn ayut leen pour ngeen votal ki ngeen bugg a votal waaye bu leen nangu kenn yaaxal leen loi parce que suñ leen yaaxalee loi duñ fa nekk soo leen demee ci loi bi de loolu ci jooj bi la nekk te kenn xamul jooj li moo def jooj su fekkee ne jub na li loi bi wax laay def man loolu laa ci bugg a yokka tuuti rek pour nit ñi xam ne ñun ñëpp benn gaal gi lañ bokka ñii soo leen joxee karta bañ gañe 2026 Gambia du amati ñi yaaxa yi yaaxa ci xale xam nga man dama dee ñun ñëpp la dañ dee wax yaaxa yi nekk di def waaye yaaxa yi nekk di def xaaf rek lañ nekk di leen wax beneen xaaf bi mu ngi National Assembly wala Auditor General's Office génnanguñ leen ci loi doo ko mun a wax waaye liñ nekk di wax xaaf rek la am na benn journaliste bu ne su Barrow génnee fii commission bi ñëw commission bu ko gën a garaaw du am te kooku sopootaam la ñii foofu lañ toolu parewu ñoo bàyyi parce que xam nañ yaaxa yiñ def njuuj njaaj yiñ nekk di def won leen ne yéen am ngeen boppa pour jël seen réew ngeen def ko seen réew sovereignty dara daaxu ko man loolu laa ci bugg a yokka tuuti rek I think we can end it there. I'm saying one thing in English to capture all of these things. You know, what they are trying to do, registering ineligible voters. What Barrow and his people are trying to create is an electoral autocracy. Electoral autocracy by numbers. Yoo xam nga ne sa waa réew bugguñ la. Sa waa réew duñ la saanil carte. Comme li nga ko waxee la nga dem indi couple of voters ñu ñëw pour saanil la carte ñi jógee ay bitim réew ci yeneen réew yi ñu saanil la carte. Loolu soo ko defee you are trying to create an electoral autocracy because kenn du la mun a daaneel yaa ngi register ku nekk di ko indi electoral autocracy boobu it should stop. That electoral autocracy ci soose mooy alinga election o sunya nga kata nga sunya nyao nyama bar mi nga sunya betar la sirin jele motem bondi nola je fofo alkana son Barrow kal kata dole plan ka. Thank you very much.
Thank you Larry.
you.